Hello, bonjour, namaste, ni hao, and ohio everybody. What is going on? It is Gale right here. Welcome back to the YouTube channel once again, and welcome to the testing and showcase of the new Hero Festa Alise Lovell. Now, I am so excited to be testing this unit out because in all honesty, I am a huge fan of Elise in this game, to be quite honest. All the Elises that have released have been some of my favorite characters. I have not been able to use the most latest one, but I remember the 3rd anniversary Elises I used to use a lot of. And even on top of that, the Elise from the 3rd anniversary, the first one, the physical one, has probably received the best buff out of all the units available in the current part 1 banners in the rerun. So Elise has a huge history of being a dominant unit in any team. Now, of course, I am expecting the same from this unit, and I have a lot of expectations from this Elise, especially because she's also a Hero Festa unit. So, of course, if you guys going to enjoy this video, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more Danmachi Memoria Freese content and Danmachi content in general. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers. We are within touching distance. It would be truly appreciated if you guys hit that subscribe button. And of course, leave a comment down below letting me know what you guys think about this Elise. Have you used her on certain teams? What teams have you used her on? How is she performing? Is she good, bad? What are her pros? What are her cons? Let me know down below in the comment section. Now, this Elise is very interesting, and it's unfortunate that I personally can't test her out in all her glory, unfortunately, because while I am on this page, this is of course the album page, unfortunately. So if I go over to my party, you guys can see that I only managed to get her to +2. So today's testing is going to be at a lower level. We aren't even going to be able to take advantage of her upgraded skill 2, unfortunately, which is what I would usually like to do. But I think this is also a good testing ground to see how she performs even at a +2 level. We're going to go into certain AoE stages. We'll probably see her in some PvE content, and then of course we're going to check her out in war games. So today we're going to go through everything, but first and foremost we're going to look at her kit, and we're going to do that in the album because I can see the maximum stats even though it's without weapons or CP levels. Unfortunately, the album does not take into account CP levels, even though I personally have her at CP level 35 across the board for Abel, Eyes, and Lafia. It doesn't replicate in the album for some reason, so it may seem a little bit weird that her magic is lower than Ryu, or even her agility is a little lower than Ryu, even though Ryu is getting like 1333 with CP levels. So let's take that into considerations. In terms of her stats, she's looking really good. I think her endurance would be around 800 to 850-ish, basically because of CP levels. Add another 100 to the dexterity, add another 100 or 150 to agility, and magic as well can be 150. So expect it to be in and around the same stats as Ryu. Ryu would probably just have a higher endurance, while Elise has a better agility. That's basically the only difference you could probably tell, and I think a lot of players who have her at +5 can agree with me on that one, assuming I am right in terms of my maths and everything. But effectively, her stats are really good. The fact that she has a higher agility as well is very solid because that's her motive. She's going to be needing to go as fast as possible. Whereas Ryu, of course, if you guys watched my showcase yesterday, she needs the endurance more than she needs the agility, funnily enough. Initially, I was a little bit concerned about Ryu's agility, but she needs the endurance more so. In Elise's case, I do believe she needs the agility more than she needs the endurance because she is going to be a significant part of a rush team, in all honesty. She's going to be part of the magic rush team. Now, let's look at Elise's kit first and foremost. So, her special arts is Inherit the Stars. Foes Ultra Fire magic attack damage plus 60% per each self magic and SA gate charge buff effect, which means she gets a 240% damage buff basically if she gets magic and SA gate charge from adventures and assists, so 60 times 4 basically. And she gives ultra critical rate and allies fire attack damage plus 100% and increases SA gate charge gain plus 44% for 3 turns and removes STR magic agility, endurance, and dexterity debuffs, and damage received attack type all targets increase. Very solid in my personal opinion. I think this is a really good sort of special arts because one, you're giving support to the rest of the team through the allies buff, right? And on top of that, you're getting an extra damage buff per, charge and stuff like that, which makes her an extremely good option in PvP content and PvE content, because you're doing kind of two things at once. You're dealing a lot of damage, and you're also able to, one, remove debuffs if there are any, so that's great in war games and stuff, especially if you can get a special arts off, assuming you're in that situation. It's rare that you get into that situation to use a special art, but there are times you get to that point because either you're facing stall or something along those lines, right? But also giving support to the rest of the team. Fire attack damage and SA gate charge gain is always handy. I think the fire attack damage is going to be very, very strong, assuming the fire units become better. Of course, I'm going to be putting up a picture right now for this week's anime gacha unit. The data mines have already come out. They decided to do an update early because they were dropping this Hero Festa banner on Monday, so they decided to put the anime gacha unit for this week, and it is a fire Welf, so he's also possibly a candidate for a fire magic team. Furthermore, the buffs that we might get to the Fire Magic Elise in part 3 for the Australia record rerun is also something to consider. So if you factor all of those things in, the Fire Magic team is looking like it's going to be at its peak performance in a couple of weeks' time, assuming the wealth is fantastic and the buffs given to the Fire Magic Elise are insane. So that's something to bear in mind. This Elise is just the start, potentially. Not only that, we also, of course, have the Fire Physical Elise, so you could kind of build a full fire team, like a hybrid Fire Physical Magic team, basically. You could do something like that. But yeah, this team is looking like it's going to be getting a huge upgrade in the coming weeks because of wealth this week and the Fire Magic Elise in a couple of weeks' time when we get part 3's rerun banner and the buffs for those units, right? So that's something to consider. So this is really strong already. This is very, very strong. Spark Ignition, her first skill. Now, this is a little bit weird where the first skill isn't actually the one that's getting upgraded. For Elise, it's skill 2. So far for Belle, Astraeus, and Ryu, the skill 1 gets upgraded at +3, but that's not the case here. So Spark Ignition takes 117 MP and is a foe's fast super fire magic attack with ultra uncounter rate. Ultra uncounter rate, yeah, that's I was right. I don't know why I was thinking I mispronounced that. And SCR magic and fire res minus 40%, and gives herself agility and ailment res plus 60% for 5 turns, and gives 4 additional actions of high fire magic attack with ultra on god rate, and removes MRes and god rate buffs on foes and status buff plus 2 turns on allies. It's a really strong attack here. This is a very, very strong attack. She's doing quite a lot here, giving herself the agility 60%, which is really, really nice. Again, this is where it comes into effect where, yes, it's really good, but if you're going up against certain units, like for example the Belle and Ryu, that agility buff kind of goes pointless effectively, right? It's one of the reasons I'm doubling down and saying we do need a unit that can effectively nullify those remove buff or remove buff / remove debuff abilities. In all honesty, I think it would be insane if we get that sort of unit. The STR magic and fire res down is also very, very handy. I must admit, it is very, very handy. It'll come in clutch in certain situations, but I don't think it's anything too crazy, to be quite honest. Let's look at the second skill. Now, the second skill is where things are a little bit interesting. So the non-upgraded version of Justice Oath is basically fast magic 100% and increases SA gate charge gain by 100%, so that stays the same. But the allies ability and the null M attack goes down by 10% and 1 respectively, so it becomes 50% fire attack damage and penetration rate to allies and 1 null M attack, which is kind of a big detriment, I would say, right? Because it's a huge difference. I still think it's not bad at all, but yeah, that's something to consider, is that the non-upgraded skill is kind of like, the 10% isn't too bad. It's just that that extra null M attack is kind of handy to have, especially if you're going up against magic teams, right? So that's something to bear in mind. Overall, this is a really good ability. She's giving herself 100% magic, which is really strong. But the allies fire attack damage and penetration rate, I think if it was even 70%, I think that would have been a-okay. It wouldn't have been too much, but it would have made it a little bit better for sure. And the null M attack and the removal of the debuffs is always handy, and the fact that it's a straight up buff is really strong. So that's something to bear in mind. And you want to pretty much go from Spark Ignition into Justice Oath, basically. That's the way you want to go. So you want to go skill 1 into skill 2, basically, when it comes to war games. You could, in theory, go for something like, well, actually, no, you do want to go from 1 into 2, because there's no point in setting up Justice Oath first, purely because there's no debuffs to remove from. You're gonna go first anyways because it's a buff skill, right? But yeah, there's no point in setting this up as the first thing you want to do. Her third skill is Winged Sword. It's a single target super fire magic attack. Oh, god damn it. Gale Ride and a Do Not Disturb. When will I learn? When will I learn? Winged Sword. Foe super fire magic attack damage plus 50% per each self magic and SA gauge charge. Buff skill and ultra on guard rate. So this is a very strong skill as well, to be quite honest. Again, it's going to be really, really handy in, obviously, single target situations, PvE content. You're going to go into Wreck-It Buster. You're going to be seeing 200% damage from this. And on top of that, it's a super modifier as well, which is better than high or anything of that sort. And adding on the buffs that she gives herself, you're gonna be dealing a lot of damage through this. Again, for PvE content, I think this Alise is going to be phenomenal. Obviously today we can't see that because Wreck-It Buster is closed, so I can't go into Wreck-It Buster to test her damage out, even at +2. And of course, that's the issue. I'm also only at +2, so I'm not going to be able to show it in the best light. Overall, I think this unit is very strong. I do believe that you're gonna see this unit primarily in, obviously, sort of magic rush teams. I think she's gonna be getting a good place in there, of course, with the agility buffs and everything like that, along with the debuffs on the enemies, helping the team survive a little bit with the STR magic down. And furthermore, with the null M attacks, she's gonna be actually able to counter magic teams really well as well. However, will I say she's better than Ryu at this point? I don't know. The thing is, right, again, this is an issue, of course, of recording this type of video and being unable to show them in the best light because I don't have them completely maxed out, right? Is I can't really judge Alise in a great way in comparison to Ryu. I wish I could, for sure, but I can't do that, unfortunately, because of the way I'm operating. Now, of course, the way I would say to best judge these units without having to see them, like, because we can't see them between +5 to +5, is see what teams they fit on best and see how you feel about those teams. How is your own box looking there? Because some people might be asking me, you know, which one's better for my team, Alise or Ryu? If you're running a stall team or any sort of team that relies on survivability, I think Ryu is a much better option. However, if you're running a magic team, sort of like a composition like this, for example, I'm going to show you guys a ideal composition. Say you're running a composition like this, or that's not the one. I wanted to go to Bingo. Yeah, I went to Ladon instead. Sorry, Bingo. Bingo's team is probably a perfect example of a magic rush team. Basically, you're setting it up. You've got all these 3 units in the front line, basically buffing up turn 1, and then turn 2 they're hitting extremely hard. There we go, snapping my fingers finally. So yeah, that's the idea behind this sort of a team. I do think you're going to be able to use this Alise alongside Vesta and Ilya as well. You're really not going to be amiss there as well. Like, for example, this composition, right? I think you could probably use this in use Alise in this composition, probably replacing the light Alise, you could say, in this sort of composition and chucking her in there, and you're going to be dealing a lot of damage. So something like this is also very possible. So I would say Alise fits this sort of a team, basically a magic rush team. I don't know where else she would necessarily fit in, but I think you can probably take advantage of her in many situations, I would say. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to just check her out and see what her damage is at +2, of course, in PvP. We're going to check her out in war games, and I want to see how she performs in here. I'm going up against Wyatt because, of course, while I do want to face off against harder opponents, Alise is only +2. We have to acknowledge that factor. She is obviously considerably in a weaker position compared to most units. What I'm also going to do here is I'm going to replace this Alf with potentially somebody else so that we can take advantage of not necessarily... One second, I have an idea. Let me just do this actually. I'll switch these 2 around because Seer is an agility assist actually as well, right? And while Alf is very nice to have for the agility bonus, he gives STR on self, which is not something that Elise needs necessarily. It helps with the penetration rate and everything, but it's not something Elise needs. So I've set her up to be on buff because I want her to go from skill 1 to skill 2. Buff will go from Spark Ignition to Justice Oath. That's the way you want to go for it. And as you guys can see, the penetration rate and fire attack damage goes down by 10%, and null M attack goes down by 1. So that's something to take into consideration. So let's go into this fight and let's see her damage. I'm very curious to see the performance that she can do in this sort of situation. And what we will do later on as well is we will go into Elgato, please let me see this. Let me see. No, there we go. You guys couldn't see it, unfortunately. I'll do the fight again, but I hate my Elgato, man. I don't know what's been happening. The core's really loose. I think that's the issue here. I mean, 10,000 at +2. Remember, this is +2 CP level 35 across the board. Remember, CP level 35 across the board. So realistically, we're in our strongest position here. And I mean, in comparison to Ryu, that was a decent amount of damage, right? I think that Elise is going to be really strong at +5. You're going to be seeing her dish out like 14, 15,000s, I would assume, right? Once you can get that additional attack off, right? But unfortunately right now, in the situation we're in, and of course I think with the right assists as well, mind you, the assists that we have here aren't perfect either for a sort of magic team. Remember, I'm running stuff like Seer Flover with 20% magic and light and wind attack damage plus 15% and stuff. I think if you can put on the right assists and everything, I think you're probably going to see this unit being extremely strong. But yeah, in this sort of situation, we've got to take what we have, and this is what I have. So we're going to be running this. Yeah, like I said, I think this Elise is really strong. I think you can probably see this Elise being pretty dominant, I think, for a lot of players. I feel that way at least. But yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good to see how this Elise performs. So Card Slash goes off. We take a lot of damage there. Unfortunately, Elise goes down, which is fine. And we get Firebolt Strike off, which is okay. All right, let's see how this goes. Okay, so take I want to see how if Ryu can actually win this fight on her own, on her ones. Nah, she won't be able to do that. Okay, but yeah, like I said, I think if I had maybe Elise better, but again, that's a situation where I was talking about earlier on. I wanted to go up against Paul in specifically here, purely because, like I said earlier on, the fact that she gives herself agility is nice. Trust me when I say this. It's very, very nice that she gives herself agility. But the biggest issue is that Bell, when he comes a cropper, right? You're going to be dealing with a unit that goes last anyways, right? And on going last, he also removes any agility buffs that the opponent has, which makes your whole team redundant if you're focused on giving agility. I think that Bell is a great counter to certain units, even in the Magic team, to be quite honest. So that's something to consider when you're facing off against that sort of a team, right? If I were to go up against, say, maybe like, for example, let's go up against the stall team that we did yesterday, Ezra, right? I think against the stall team, she will do really well, provided that she has the right supports alongside her. I do think she will be really good. I think overall, this Elise is really, really good if you are planning on building a magic focus team. If you have a magic focus team planned out and you want to go for a magic focus team, I think this Elise is going to be a phenomenal option. I mean, let's look at the damage. I mean, it's not bad. Remember that this is a stall team. Remember that we're facing off against a stall team. This is not just any normal team, you know, that we're not going up against. This is a stall team. These guys will deal a lot of damage, right? And they will protect themselves. You cannot deal a lot of damage in return, unfortunately. But I do think that this team overall is still very solid for sure. I want to see. Okay, so we lost there, but let's look at what Ryu can do here. All right, let's see. Special arts Ryu, maybe. Please be Ryu. Oh God. You're a single target unit. Why are you special artsing, brother? I can't believe it. I can't believe who special arts there, bro. That's ridiculous. That is actually very funny, to be honest. But yeah, like I said, I think this team is still very, very solid for sure, right? And while Elise is not being shown in her best light, I think we are able to see certain bits and bobs that, you know, showcase how good she can actually be. I forgot that RD inflicts sleep. Anyways, we've lost here. So yeah, I think overall, the best way to put this and the best way to kind of do it as a TLDR, Alise will perform best in a Magic Rush comp. You want to throw her onto Magic Rush comp. I don't know whose position she would take personally, to be quite honest, in a sort of a comp like this, for example. I personally believe that she would replace, it would be a direct replacement of Elise, to be quite honest. But you guys can let me know in the comment section, those of you who run a Magic team, let me know what you guys plan on running for her in terms of a Magic Rush team, if you did manage to pull her. And for any starting players right now planning on summoning on this Hero Festa banner and manage to get maybe a +5 Elise, for example, I would say focus on getting more Magic units in the near future. I think the Magic units teams are going to see an exponential rise, and I think you'll want to focus on that more so than anything else, to be quite honest. Now, if we go into PvE, unfortunately, even 7 zone is closed. That's just how it is. Today is obviously the middle of the week. Effectively, Wednesdays are usually when it's kind of quiet across the board. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go into Heroic Trials. Heroic Trials EX stage is usually a relatively decent place to actually test out these units, in all honesty. It's not a perfect place for sure, but I genuinely believe it's a decent place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring back the normal team comp. I'm going to switch to a sort of Magic AoE team if possible. Let me see if I can build a sort of Magic AoE team if I have any units that kind of fit in that sort of criteria effectively. Bro, I remember some of these units, man. The thing is, I'm so used to these old units being so good, like for example this Belle, this Lafia and stuff like that, that I forget that they're no longer of that quality. But I'm gonna actually take certain other units. I'm gonna take my old Elise, my 3rd anniversary Elise. Unfortunately, she will have to go without a weapon because unfortunately I don't have 2 Magic Crimson orders. I'll just give her a normal Crimson order, even though it's an STR buff. I'll still give her that. Actually, no, I can't do that. I cannot do that. Let me see if I have any other like magic weapon. Maybe, yeah, magic sword. I'll give her the magic sword. It's fine. I couldn't do that. I couldn't give her a physical weapon consciously, to be quite honest. We'll give her one of these breastplates just so that she can survive, and we'll probably replace this RD with a Vesta. Maybe no, I think I'll give I'll use this bell. Actually, I'll use this bell. We'll use this bell, and we will go with where's Hestia knife? Magic Hestia knife. There we go. And we'll give him an armor piece as well. All right, so now that we have a sort of composition here, I'm gonna just switch the assists around. I have some assists already in mind, so I'm not too stressed about this. We're gonna use, for example, where is Demeter? We'll use Demeter there. We will use a magic buffing assist here. We'll probably actually use I think I have an idea. Where is Hestia's? Hestia's. I have one Hestia here. We can use her, and I will use where is she? I was going to use one more assist here that I was thinking of. 1 second. Oops. 1 minute. Come on. There we go. I'll use Aphrodite here, and I'm gonna use what's his name? What's her name? Hestia. Where's the Hestia? Fire res down. There we go. So we're gonna use this sort of a team. Basically, we're gonna test it out. We're gonna see how this goes. I'm gonna just replace well, actually, we'll keep Finn as is. It doesn't really matter. And we'll probably switch things around here a little bit. We'll just go for fire damage here. Wait 1 second. Magic, and where's more magic and fire damage here. Okay. All right, let's see how this goes. Let's see how it's 1% only, so it doesn't really make a difference, to be honest. But let's see how this goes. I'm very curious to try this out and see how this, you know, fares for us. One thing I might do is I'll probably just bring in Mikoto along, actually, also for the magic res down. Let's see. Where is Mikoto? Mikoto. There she is. All right, let's try this out. Let's see how this goes, and hopefully it works the way I think it does, and it'll also give us an idea of how this Elise performs in a PvE situation, basically. Also, if you guys want to understand how exactly I build teams, I know a lot of people actually come into my Twitter DMs or something like that. What I might do is I might make either a community post or a Twitter thread or something like that, where I will ask you guys to basically post your teams or put gear links to your teams, basically, and I can effectively go through your teams and help you build teams basically in that video. So if you guys want me to do that, leave it in the comment section down below, because I think I could make a video out of it, and I could also help you guys much more easily, because in all honesty, mentioning it via text is hard because I don't know exactly what's your CP levels, what weapons you have, how much iris you have, stuff like that. So if you can give me like your an imgear link where you, or an image link, or where it's compiled with all images from your your game basically. So your box, your iris count, everything of that sort, your story completion, I can get an idea of how your account is looking like, so that we can build teams and stuff like that. So if you guys want to see content like that, let me know down in the comments below. Again, I would love to do something like that for sure. So again, I like this Elise a lot, and I expect her to become really good. It's because she, one, has a fast ability off the get-go, and this is a skill you'll use off the get-go anyways. And she gives herself additional actions as well already, which is low fire. I expect that to become medium fire. And I expect her to give herself more buffs here potentially. I do believe that's going to be the case, or debuffs potentially. So let's do that. Let's do this. Let's do this. Yep. And we will use this. Let's go. Now, one thing to note is that this opponent that we're facing, unfortunately, has magic nulls. So we're going to be, unfortunately, dealing with this quite a lot. She gives 2 magic nulls, which is really, really annoying. I'm going to target Cassandra, because Cassandra is more annoying than anything else. So we're going to target Cassandra with her, and we'll use Justice Oath. Let's go. Pop off. All right, there we go. So unfortunately, we couldn't see Elise in her shining light there, unfortunately, because of course right now we are just starting to deal damage. All right, let's do this now. Spark Ignition. So 140k, I mean, both being at +2, right? We could see this is a 4th anniversary unit versus a Hero Festa, right, on the right hand side. So that's also something to acknowledge, that we can actually compare Belle and Elise at the same time. Both +2 max hero ascension. You can see the difference in damage there as well. They're very actually similar, funnily enough. That's kind of funny to see, actually. They're kind of very similar in terms of damage. Of course, you can make an argument and say that Belle potentially has a, maybe a little bit more because of the magic Hestian knife and stuff like that and whatnot. But I mean, it doesn't really matter. And the thing is, you got temporary magic boost there, whereas fast super fire is magic attack without any sort of boost in her first skill. So that's also something to acknowledge, and something to consider is that Elise may not seem to do too much damage on Spark Ignition, but that's partially because, well, she doesn't have any sort of temporary boost, unlike Belle here. But of course, the modifiers for Belle is a little bit lower, so that's also something to consider. Again, it also kind of shows how strong these anniversary units are. In all honesty, anniversary units are insane. I wouldn't be surprised if the Hero Festa that we get during the anniversary, because we are going to be getting a Hero Festa for the anniversary, let's not get it twisted, it is 100% happening. Let's not get it twisted, they're gonna be insane. It's genuinely gonna be insane. All right, let's do this, because I'm not going to be able to special arts here, unfortunately, because she still has 3 null magic attacks, unfortunately. So we're going to have to wait until this turn, basically, to be able to do it. All right, let's launch it. Doop, boop, boop. There we go. Flaming Edge. Let her rip. Let's go. Kokono, of course, the 120% magic here, which is really handy. Obviously, you would want to put the Elise that I have actually in front, so that she can give allies 100% attack damage, fire attack damage, and so the 3rd unit attacking in the special odds chain gets it. Because effectively, what happens is, right? I mean, the fact that we managed to clear it within turn, well, actually, we won't be able to clear it within turn 9, if I'm not mistaken, because yeah, Daphne has a lot of HP still, purely because we unfortunately had the 40% magic res down on only Cassandra. So Cassandra was just taking a lot of damage consistently. Let's see how the single target damage is on Elise now. This is going to be very interesting. 400k, I mean, that's not bad. That is actually not bad at all. 400k is really strong. It's very, very strong. All right, let's see. Crimson Libra, 500k nearly. Not bad at all. I must admit, that's really not bad at all. And I expect it to be higher, of course, depending on the assists and, a better sort of like cohesive composition. Magic res down on Daphne as well, and everything would probably make her a better option. I mean, turn 12, maybe. Did we kill it on turn 12? Yeah, turn 12. Okay, that's not bad. I think this is still a very strong unit. I think she's gonna go fit straight into a Magic Rush team. And for PvE content, she will be great as well, especially if the opponents have Material Killer. I think she will be a phenomenal option as well. But yeah, unfortunately, I would try and test her out in more places. It's just that, of course, right now, because of course, the lack of bonds and the lack of finances, both in terms of IRL currency and Iris currency, I'm not taking the risk and going deeper into that banner because there's realistically no point. Of course, if you guys have been able to test her out, leave it in the comment section down below so people can see maybe like a +5 performance in terms of damage, letting people know like, okay, this is her damage that she gets maxed out, you know, like within a cohesive team, right? So that people can see it. Today, hopefully this was also handy though for people who have her at low limit breaks to see how she performs, because a lot of players might be just starting, right? And they might not know if she's like a really great performing unit even at low limit break. So hopefully this video could help out a little bit. Of course, I think if you manage to get her to +3, that's really good, to be quite honest, because I think at +3 she will shine anyways, purely because she has got that skill upgrade. I think for Hero Festas you kind of have to kind of try and get to +3 if possible to make them usable. But of course, unfortunately, I couldn't do that. Unfortunately, I could not do that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about Alise, if you've used her and stuff, in the comment section down below. Remember to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel for more Danmachi content. And I will be back tomorrow, obviously, for the new Telskira Abyss as well as the anime Gacha banner. Now, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye, everybody.